It's exploration. There
Yes.
are no rules. They can date
Yes.
as young as they want until it upsets a child
Right.
or even a grandchild.
Hey guys, this is another episode of I Hate Dating Apps. I'm Daniel.
And I am Gina. Today, we are going to talk about a subject that I might know a thing or two about. Don't ask me how I know this. No, I'm just kidding. We're actually, I'm going to be super transparent, but it's about the phenomenon of older women dating younger men. So, Daniel, have you ever dated an older woman?
Yes, I have actually.
How much older, if I may ask?
Just by a few years.
Like two, three,
Three
four.
years, 3 years older than myself.
And what would you think about dating someone a decade or two older?
I wouldn't mind at all, actually. I think, yeah, I
Okay.
think, for a couple of reasons which we'll get into with our guest. So I want to introduce our guests to you
Yes, we
guys.
have so much to talk
Yes,
about.
we have Deb Dutcher. She is 71 years young. We want
Oh,
to stress that. She's a dating coach specializing in help folks over 50 master online dating and find their adorable person. I love that. She's a former Silicon Valley exec. She's also a certified health coach. She's been a certified health coach for 10 years. She's also a best-selling author of Sexy, Lean, and Strong After 50. And how I went from fat, depressed, and divorced, that's a mouthful, to the best shape of my life and how you can too. So lots to explore there. Well, Deb, welcome to the show. Tell us, why is this happening, Deb? We do see a lot more of younger, men with older women, and what's
and,
happening
and you
there?
know what?
Yeah.
Before you launch into that, Deb, let me tell you exactly how many older women are dating younger men. Here's some really crazy examples of this. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, his wife Brigitte is 25 years older than him. I don't know if you knew
Wow.
that. I guess I didn't.
You know what that means? You can date a 25-year-old.
Or less, because Cher, who's 76, is dating a boyfriend who's 36, 40-year difference.
Yeah, you might have to wait a little bit for that because you don't want to be dating
Yeah, I can't date
12-year-old
a,
boys.
12-year-old. Oh my God, I just gave my age away. And then we have, of course,
I did actually.
Madonna, who's like in her 60s and dating a 20-something. So there's like almost 40-year difference with her as well. Heidi Klum, 49, married to a husband who's 16 years younger. Mariah Carey, 53, dating a boyfriend who's 39. Sienna Miller, 42, just had a baby with her boyfriend who's 27. Deb, what in all heck is going on?
Well, first of all, we know it's not quite the same with the celebrity crowd, right?
I know. Yeah.
They get to pay for all the overdues and makeovers and everything else. And good for them. More power to them. I'm happy for them. Let's just get real, though, because at 71, the youngest I would probably have gone is 55. And that's about a 16-year, and that's stretching, and it depends on the 55-year-old. But I'm going to tell you the reason me and most of my clients are dating younger men is they have the energy. And I'm a health coach. I've stayed super strong, super lean, super sexy. I have a great libido. And I
Ooh.
don't like just sitting around watching football games and basketball games and baseball games, which is what I did in my last marriage. The man I was married to made me feel 90 and
Oh,
acted like he was 90, and he was only 3 years older than me. So when I finally extricated myself from that marriage, my second marriage, I went, I'm not doing this again. I'm not wasting what's left of my vitality, my vibrancy, my sex drive on men who can't deliver. Forget it.
amen. Oh
Boom.
my
And that's
word.
the crux of it. In addition, sometimes the older guys are just worn out. Life
Yes.
has drained them dry and they don't know how to come back. But the women have taken time to take care of ourselves. And we don't,
Yes.
this is pretty good for 7.
Oh, hell yeah, girl, you look hot.
I've never had a facelift.
Ooh, well, that's genes right there. But
But it's also working out and not doing too much alcohol and just doing the things health coaches tell you to do, right? So when we get ourselves in great shape after we come out of a divorce or a long widowhood, and I just coached a woman yesterday. We just did her makeover. We're getting new glasses, new hairdo. We're losing 15 pounds. We're doing the wardrobe. I'm going to her home, doing the wardrobe makeover thing. And I'm going to tell her you can date 12 to 15 years younger.
Or
Don't
more.
hold back. She's adorable.
Why even put a number on a day? I mean, I know we have so much ground to cover here, but I'm just going to go back to what you said. My limit is 55. Why even put a lower limit on that? What if you meet an amazing 53-year-old? You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to be super rigid.
Right.
However, I don't want to date someone in their 40s. That's too much of a gap for me. So celebrities aside,
Yeah.
there's a issue with me because 40s would be a grandchild, you know, and forget it. Well, not a grandchild, but
Quite,
a child.
not quite a grandchild.
Yeah.
I don't want to date a child's age. When I was in college, my father, who my mother had a divorce at when I was 9, I was 18 and living with him, and he had his 19-year-old girlfriend
Ooh.
in the room, but I would come home and they'd be in his bedroom.
Oh, hell
I'm sorry.
no.
My father was 50-something at that point.
That might actually be a super factor, is the age of your children. I mean, if you don't have any children, whatever, you date a 20-year-old, no one's going to judge you, in the room next door. You have 20-year-old children and you're dating 20-something-year-olds, that is a whole nother ball of wax altogether.
That's also the age difference, right? If you're looking for somebody who's 15 years younger, 16 years younger, it's likely they're not going to be your children's age. But you said something interesting. Why do you think the age gap between men who date younger women and women who date younger men, the age threshold, we all Gina just rattled off a number of different, celebrities, women who are dating younger men, and there's age difference. Yeah. But also with men, though, you're right. I mean, we all know the famous stories of, men dating women 40, 50 years younger sometimes.
Oh, God,
right?
yes.
Yeah. Right.
That's robbing the cradle.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So what do you think? Why is that difference? What are the dynamics there that makes it different?
I would say it's because the man has less concern about the impact on his children.
Yep.
He's not the one that spent the time raising them. He's
Bingo.
not the one that built their morals. So he can go off and do what he wants. My dad was, left my mom and he dated 2 or 3 other women who were way younger than her. So it's all about your own morals and values.
It's that too, but I also think there are different dynamics at play. I think for men, when you date, and I'm just obviously generalizing here, but I think men who date much younger women, it's a way for you to stay young. Because for men to be the alpha guy, right? You're attracting all the hot women around you, and whether you're 70 or 80, for men it doesn't really matter. The men stop growing after 30, let's say, right? We stop maturing because we still think like a young man, regardless of what our chronological age is, and also because the ethics and morals of it. We tend to be, even though we are grossed out, in general, we tend to be a little more accepting of an 80-year-old billionaire who marries a 30-year-old, lingerie
Supermodel.
model. Yeah, supermodel, right? It's just seems to be a little more acceptable, but it seems to be also more acceptable now versus like 30, 40 years ago. I don't know. I'm sure older women and younger men were a thing even 30, 40 years ago, but it seems to be a lot more accepted. It seems to be happening a lot more often now.
Well, they're going to follow the model of the celebrities. But I actually did a little bit of research when you guys posed this topic to me. And as of 2021, today's survey said that 81% of the women in the US were open to dating someone 10 years younger. 90% of the men interviewed would date someone 10 years older. 10 years is an easy span
Right.
to communicate and have things in common. You move to 20 or 30 years and it's basically arm candy time,
Right,
either
very
for the woman
different,
or the man.
Right,
If you're actually bonding over anything intellectual, good for you. But I'm serious. I believe if you're dating, 20, 30, 40 years younger, it's arm candy time, and bedroom time.
So
Well, I
Yes,
think you can
bedroom
find
talk.
a lot of intellectual, commonality with a 25-year-old stripper. I mean,
Ah, Daniel's like, send them all my
She might be
way.
putting herself through law school. Don't look down on strippers.
yeah. It's like we
Oh,
all we
oh.
all we all do whatever we want to do, and then we rationalize about it.
That's right.
Daniel's after the Legally Blonde crowd. One of the reasons why this was a very interesting topic to me, and one of the great reasons why we have Deb on this episode, is because I did not know, after being married for 12 years and probably off the market for 15, with my ex, by the time I signed up for dating apps, it had been that long since I'd been with just one guy or just on my own. And I cautiously went on the apps 2 years ago. I was shocked at, before I put in all of my filters, how many 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds even, 23-year-olds, 30-year-olds were asking me out, and back then, I was in my 40s and I was still like, oh, that's like crazy. And now, even when I'm in my 50s, it is still happening. What kind of really opened my eyes to this being a phenomenon, and a recent one at that, because this certainly was not as acceptable, 15 years ago when I was dating my ex-husband, was that I was asked out just in real life by a 30-year-old. And then 3 months later, I was asked out by a 24-year-old while I was on vacation in Hawaii. And then shortly after that, at an airport, at an anonymous airport in Atlanta, like 6 months later, I was asked out by a 27-year-old. So I was like, whoa, what is happening here? And then like a year after that, I signed up on the apps, and then the floodgates just opened. Like, I can't tell you how many 20, 30, 40-year-olds are chasing after this old lady right here. And then I have my own reasons for why I think this is happening. But let's hear yours, Deb, because you experienced this firsthand with clients. You've experienced it yourself. Why is this happening now more than ever? The guys are okay with it.
The reason it's happening is because, especially if you walk out of a marriage and you take your power back, you basically are just pulling them in. You're out there in the world, you're super confident, you're good looking, you're fun, you're interesting. I get hit on at dog parks where I'm wearing jeans
Wow.
and a baseball cap, and they hit on me. They see me from the back and go, oh, yeah, yeah. And then they come around to the front. They're like 35, and this is when I was 51. And I actually did. I dated him for a bit because it was a time of exploration. So women who come out of long marriages, whether widowhood or divorce, it's exploration. There
Yes.
are no rules. They can date
Yes.
as young as they want until it upsets a child
Right.
or even a grandchild. And so, because I'm 71, I have grandkids. But to say it's a new thing in the culture is not that many. It's like 14% of them are actually dating older women. 14% of them are dating younger guys. That was a stat I just pulled on another survey. So 2022, yeah, 14% of women in the US have dated someone younger. Now, more than 10 years younger, because you need to bound it. 10 years is pretty acceptable, up or down. You move past that, you're in the different college era, a different high school era,
Different music genres.
different everything. And unless you've decided as an older woman to become younger in every way, and you've studied up on the music of their day and all those things, you've got to meet somewhere. There's got to be some synergies somewhere. It can't just be about physical attraction or intrigue.
But you know what, Deb? I would say that I know a lot of friends who married age appropriate, quote unquote, and they don't have a lot in common with their husbands. So I am not sure. And then, of course, their marriages are suffering. I'm not sure that having a whole lot of things in common with somebody because of your age is necessarily the make it or break it deal breaker anymore. I certainly know a lot of women who are massively extroverted that are with massively introverted husbands. And I would say to you that that's just about as much of a gap and just as much of a problem as dating somebody who doesn't know who the Rolling Stones are, right?
Correct.
So
It's not about the music, it's about the energies. So the man I was married to, we had everything in common. We were 3 years apart, but we had nothing in common in terms of how we wanted to live
yes.
moving forward in
Yeah.
our life. I wanted to kayak, I wanted to hike, I wanted to bike, I wanted to travel. He didn't want to do anything. And I'm
Right.
like, I don't want to die here. I feel 90. I'm getting out of this. So you are correct in that age is immaterial. And I tell all my clients that you're never too old and it's not too late to find someone you can love and adore. And there isn't a boundary around who that could be. It's only how ready you are to accept someone new, interesting, and different. Either way, younger or older.
Right.
So
So
you
there are guidelines, not so much boundaries. Obviously, there are some guidelines when we're talking about extreme. Obviously, you can't have a 30-year-old dating a 15-year-old. But
that's illegal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So aside from the logical stuff like that, what you're saying is there are certain guidelines, like you don't want to date anybody within that 10-year range because it's less likely. But it doesn't mean that it's prohibitive, is what you're saying.
I would date. So I flirted with Daniel while we were being on the first interview.
She
And
did.
I thought, he's
Oh.
really fun to talk to. And if I
Yes.
weren't in a relationship, I would date you, Daniel.
Oh, a lot of people would date Daniel. We get a lot of viewers, and some of them include men who are like, "What's
Oh.
up with Daniel?"
Maybe I got to explore my horizon.
Well, you should. And remember, to me, it's about sapiosexualism. So
Right.
if I am intellectually connecting with someone, I don't care how old they are. And if they happen to be physically attractive, even better. And if they like to do the things I like to do, let's go, baby, because I have a ton of energy and I don't want to stand around and be bored. I'm freaking 71. I'm not wasting the next 20 years of my life on people who don't want to get out there and move.
I love that. I love
100%.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Our sponsor, Take My Face Off, makes swiping off your makeup just as easy as swiping past a bad profile. Seriously, the MIDI from Take My Face Off is this adorable facial mitt that makes skin cleansing faster, easier, and more thorough than any other method I've tried. I seriously love this product. Next time you're tempted to grab a face wipe, use a MIDI instead. It's just as fast, but it's better for your skin and the planet. Get free shipping with the discount code DATING at takemyfaceoff.com.
You were asking me earlier if I've dated older women, and I think I understand a little bit of the psychology of men nowadays, whether you're 35 or 55 dating older women. What I've noticed is the sexual attraction. Part of this is sort of going beyond like what you were raised with and all the brainwashing that you go through. Like what's beautiful? Beautiful is a Barbie looking woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. Like they're all this, like what you're supposed to feel attracted to.
Yeah.
And as you get older, and some people reach maturity earlier than others.
Sure.
When you start understanding that what you feel attracted to is not what the world told you should be attracted to, but you actually feel attracted to. Now, I get sexually turned on, not necessarily by a woman who has the perfect ass and the perfect tits or whatever. I feel attracted to a woman who, like, I can't say, wait, physically she's not the type that I'd go for, but I just want to tear her clothes off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think that changes.
It's chemistry. And what's interesting is, so I dove deep into this topic to prepare for this podcast, but also to try to understand like what's happening in my life. So
Because it's all about Gina at the end of the day.
It's research for the podcast. Wink, wink. Research for myself is more like what it is. So I looked up this topic, and on Reddit, on Quora, oh my God, there are so many threads, so many topics just dedicated to this. And one of the best that I pulled, first of all the men weigh in with just such absolute transparency and honesty. And I did not read, among all of the Quora and Reddit threads that I read, I did not read one guy's poo-poo on this topic at all. All the men who weighed in were like, oh, hell yeah. I've dated older women and I love it and I'm not going to apologize for it. But the best one was this guy who said, the idea of an older woman lies in her ability to bring something new and exciting to the table. She's been around, she knows the ropes, can teach them to me, and trust me, that's incredibly appealing. I'm just going to read this a little bit because he was just so spot on. Everything he wrote was just like synthesizing what everybody else was writing. He continues, and then there's the whole sophistication angle. Older women can exude a level of poise and confidence that's downright intoxicating. They're not just guessing about life, they know it, they've lived it, they don't play games. On the subject of emotional stability, older women are in a league of their own. They're often self-reliant, they're grounded, they've weathered enough storms to know not to create unnecessary drama. And then now let's not sidestep the obvious. It's the mommy thing. Some young men have a real mommy fixation. They love their mothers.
Please don't go there.
I know. There's a certain thrill in breaking societal norms. Dating an older woman is often seen as unconventional. And for some young men, that is precisely the appeal. And then finally, the physical aspect can't be ignored. Some young men have a potent desire to be with someone who's looking for that intense, energetic, unrestricted connection. The idea of being with an older woman who's seeking to reignite her passion with a young, hung, testosterone-filled youngster can be incredibly enticing. And I was just like, that really sums it up. Hell yes. With older women, we might want boy toys, but also younger men want somebody who has been there, done that, doesn't play games, knows who she is, has no qualms about, what she looks like or like in the bedroom or outside, just expresses herself unreservedly. And that is just so refreshing for them. So I'm like, yes. I mean, do we even need to talk about this after something like this has been said? It's almost a no-brainer.
Case closed.
Case closed. We're done. Bye, Deb. Just kidding.
Bye.
What would stop you, Daniel, as the only man here at the table? What would stop you, and then what would you say about this topic as it pertains to you personally?
Well, I think, that's a lot to process there. I think everything that you said is true to a certain extent. Again, we're generalizing here, right? And I think you can have a 55-year-old guy who acts like he's 70, and you can have a 35-year-old guy who acts like he's 15. I mean, it's just
And you could have a 40-year-old woman who
Yeah.
really does act like
Right,
she's 80.
exactly. But I think generally speaking, I think what you said is spot on. What I've realized, and it's not from dating older women, as I progress in my age, obviously just by nature, I am dating older women because I am getting older. And what I've noticed as I date older women, you're right. Like, it's the reason why, I mean, joking aside, the reason why I would not date a 25-year-old today is not so much because of the cultural reference and stuff. And I think it's because a 25-year-old woman is in a different place in her life.
Right. She's
right?
looking to have babies. She's looking to expand her career.
No, not only that. No, that's not what I mean. So a 25-year-old, one of the things I realized, and this is true, like for a 25-year-old woman and a 28-year-old guy, at that age, sex becomes almost performative. It's like you have to show off. You have to be good at it. I have to be a stud. I have to do this. And then as I got older, I tuned in more and more into pleasure and pleasuring, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and then when I have sex now with a 49, 52-year-old woman versus a 25-year-old woman, I feel a lot more comfortable because she's more comfortable with her body. A 25-year-old, I've got to be honest, I think it's performative. I think 25-year-old women fake a lot more orgasms than a 50-year-old woman because 50-year-old women don't give a fuck. They're like, I'm not feeling it. Like, you're doing this wrong.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong. I'm not orgasming. And when it's a 25-year-old woman, it's like, oh, I got to be sexy. I've got to, oh my God, you're just rocking my world because she's trying to please the guy, his ego, whatever.
I mean, that's also a generalization. I know plenty of 50-year-old women who do that as well.
Well,
but
but maybe there's still, but again, the dynamic there is maybe because they are focused more on the performative side of this. But generally speaking, as you get older, I think you hopefully, as you evolve and mature, you focus more on what's important. And if it's what's more important for you to look pretty while you're having sex, or feel pretty and feel satisfied, right? And that actually, in turn, makes me feel more at ease and get more pleasure out of sex because I don't feel like I need to be performing.
Right.
And
there's
so
a deeper connection.
Yes, there's a deeper connection. So as an older man dating older women now, I can see how if I went back to 35, 32, whatever, how I might want to look into dating older women even back then, because I would have been a lot more at ease. Like I wouldn't have to be with a 25-year-old who cares more about what her hair looks like than actually being in the moment.
Yeah.
I think that's a good observation, and I think it's valid. However, I'm going to give you the other flip side of the coin. The older woman does have a complex about the aging of her body.
Yes.
So, and the older man does too. And so, no matter what, the most important thing in terms of effective and loving and beautiful and wonderful productive sex is communication, communication, communication.
Yes.
And I like to communicate before I get into bed with someone new. I like to sit on the couch and have a discussion. And I like to do, we talked about it, Daniel. I like to say before we have sex, I want us to get naked and give each other a full body massage, no happy endings. Can you do that?
Oh.
Because you get used to each other's bodies. And you don't have to feel that shock of getting naked for the first time in front of that person. And if there's already love coming to the surface, then you can go, wow, I don't care. There's wrinkles and rolls and cellulite and scars and whatever. I really do like this person, and I'm loving giving him a rub down, and I'm loving watching his body and feeling his muscles or lack thereof, under my hands. And then I get the massage, and I like feeling how they relate to my body and if they have good, strong hands. And then I start getting ideas, and then I'm ready for the next phase the next time.
Ooh, I'm getting hot on
I
know.
know. Daniel might need to step aside. No, I'm just kidding. So another thing, Deb, that I think changes the dynamic and why this is happening more, older women, younger men, is like I can only kind of talk about my experience and the experience of girlfriends my age, which is that we've done the marriage thing, we've done the kid thing, we've done the kind of, home with white picket fence and growing our careers together thing. And now in this new space as older, more confident, more financially secure and stable human beings, we are open to exploring where any relationship takes us. And we're not looking for marriage. And therefore we're open to experimenting with younger men because we honestly don't care if it leads to, us growing old into the sunset together, because we've been there and done that. And now we're just like, okay, let me try this for a little bit. Let me try all the colors of Skittles, and not just stick to the purples like I was before. So whereas men, I'm not sure that it equates to men. I think men don't like date older women after they've gotten a divorce and say, let's explore where this goes. Could this be just a women thing, you think?
No, I think again, it's about the societal norms, right? How we see ourselves within the context of society. I think for men, dating younger women is a sign of status, and men are monkeys. We're always trying to show the other monkeys in the group that I am the alpha monkey. I'm the one who can show. I might be 80 years old, but I got a 20-year-old in my mind. So fuck you, 20-year-old boy.
Well, then what's happening with the younger guys who are going after the older men?
So
women.
they have evolved. So yeah, you see, this is the conversation you and I always have, because again, we have to speak in generalizations because we're trying to find
right.
some
This doesn't
trends
apply
here.
to
Yeah,
everybody,
right,
right?
exactly. But exactly, so there's always exception that proves the rule. I think the men, and again, the numbers are quite small still, right? It's not like every 35-year-old is going for an older woman. Let's face it, there's some younger guys who are going for older women just out of fetish. The whole cougar MILF thing is a very sexual thing. It's a fetish.
Yeah,
thing.
there's a show called MILF Manor,
Yeah,
right?
which
Wow.
is-
Yeah,
it's the end of the Western
cringy.
civilization, by the way.
Don't watch that
Yeah,
show.
don't watch that show. But if you take that out of the equation, the sort of the sexual predilection is like they're doing it just because they think older women is it's a fetish. If you take that out, from your experience, I mean, I think there are guys who are hitting on you because you're an attractive older Asian woman and they've always dreamed of doing it with an Asian cougar. Now, if you take those out, the guys that you have actually gone out on date with, I think they are evolved. They have it's like, you know what? I got so tired of dating 25, 30, like women my age, because they care more about what their hair looks like than being with me and being in the moment and giving each other pleasure. So they want to connect with somebody because they're connecting, and usually they connect with somebody, older women who don't have all those hang-ups anymore. Not to flirt with Debbie, but what's sexier than, somebody like Debbie who's like so sure in her own skin.
Oh shit! I date Debbie.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me right now?
You have flipped
I would
Gina now.
flip for Debbie. Damn. But to your point, the two guys that have kind of gone to the point of asking me to be their girlfriend, one was 34, another one was 33. And I first of all, I was shocked and taken aback. Oh no, there was another one who was 31. So the three guys that kind of asked me to be their girlfriends after just like a couple of dates, it was actually quite early for my taste, but and then ultimately it just didn't work out, mostly because of me not being ready to be their girlfriends. But the commonality that they all had was that they were all extremely mature,
Right.
and
Yeah,
that I was not the first older woman that they had been with.
They were not typical 30-something, right?
They were not typical
Yeah.
30 somethings. They were very mature, and all of them were introverts. That's I don't know whether there's a pattern there, but people who are comfortable just not living a very public life and not putting themselves out there might also be a little bit more comfortable with that. I don't know. I'm just kind of projecting my own viewpoints on that. One of them did have a very fractured relationship with his mother. So I was wondering, well, is he looking for kind of like a mom figure? But I was just so pleasantly surprised at how many people not only wanted to just kind of like explore with an older woman, but really had intentions of making that a very permanent thing.
And that's kind of the opposite of the women that I'm talking to. They don't want the permanent thing. They've come out of the permanent thing. They're in exploratory phase. They want to experience someone younger because maybe their guy was sick for 5 years and they haven't been able to get it on. And so they want the physical, they want the emotional, they want the intellectual, and they want to come alive.
What's the end game with your clients? What do you tell them after they do that exploration?
The end game, we don't have end game because we don't want to be
Yeah.
married again, most of us.
Yes.
We're not looking for making a family. We have a family where we don't need someone to take care of us. We want a partner to go through life,
Have fun.
commit,
Yep.
have some fun, and then also be supportive of each other, bring the emotional support into it, but not feel trapped like I was in my last marriage, and not and own it. We want to own our own life. And if we want to include you in that, younger man, then be aware that there's all these parameters and there's all these facets, because many of the women I'm coaching and some of the men, they want to make sure they don't have to give up the time with their own families, their grandchildren, they're traveling, they're volunteering, they're this or that. They're not looking to merge lives. One of my coaches had a really good diagram. Here's your life, here's his life. And if it intersects 25%, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that 25% look like? How do you build it? And how can you each bring joy and more to each other's life? That's the secret, no matter what age we are.
I think there's something really interesting going on when you're dating at an older age, whether you're man or woman, right? So from my experience, I mean, when you fall in love in your 20s and 30s, your mindset is, I'm going to find a partner for life, because that's what society has told us, till death do us apart. And that's a whole nother, piece of conversation, what the institution of marriage, whether that's an outdated notion or not. But that's generally the mindset is get married, build a family together, have children, right? And then there's that whole sort of, on-ramp. Now, when you get to like my age, and I've been divorced, and I've already raised a child, and she's in college, and I'm an empty nester, the more I think about it, it's like, why would I? Because that idea of fall in love, get married, moving together, build, like, why? Why even think in those
Well, because
terms?
nobody wants to grow old.
No, hold on.
Be alone.
But it's not. This is not an either or proposition. Is what I'm saying. Is you can have that 25%, and that 25% can last for the next 25, 30 years until one of you gets hit by a truck or has a heart attack. I mean, it can last that long. What I'm saying is the expectation, and I at this stage in my life, if I run into somebody my age who has an expectation that we're going to walk down the aisle and get married, she's going to wear a white dress, and I'm like, oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Not because I think, whatever rocks your boat, but it's because I think the priorities there are screwed up. Because at this point, I want somebody who I am compatible with, somebody who I can spend time with, and I have fun going out with. I don't necessarily need to live in the same, under the same roof, although I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
But that's not a priority for me. The priority for me is, do we get along? Do we make each other happy?
Yes.
Do we get each other, sexually aroused? I mean, all those things, right? But the priorities change as you get older.
That's funny. So you're saying it's exactly the same for a man. That's
Well,
what
for
we
me,
just said.
yeah.
For women, we
Well,
don't need an
yeah,
end game after
yeah,
we've been divorced
right.
and raised
Look,
kids. And you're saying it's the same for you.
I think generally speaking, women are a lot more evolved than men are. We all know like the stereotypes, and we can talk about the societal reasons for that. But I think man or woman, if you're evolved and if you're mature, yes, we all have the same desires. At the end of the day, it's about making that connection, right? And I think getting to dating apps, I think the reason why I hate dating apps, even though I'm not on them, is because I think the dating apps just throw all of this out of whack. Because the boxes that we have to check, he has to be 6'2", he has to be this age, and stuff, like it already leads you to this dynamic that we've been brought up with. It's about being popular. It's about being desirable. It's about checking the boxes. It's about being a 7 instead of a 6. If I'm a 7, I'm not going to date a 3. It's like, and it's all bullshit at the end of the day.
Yeah, but that bullshit also led me to meet, younger men who.
Right. Again, it's not an either or proposition. What I'm saying is all of these things are true, right? So dating apps, yes. You can find somebody younger by checking the boxes, but at the end of and you can find somebody good younger, like that you are compatible with and stuff. But I think the reason why most of us struggle and why dating apps are such shit is because instead of using them as a tool, we think they're a solution.
Yeah. Well, I definitely use it as a tool to have some fun, and I think Deb approves of that.
I recommend you use dating apps to have fun. Yes.
Yes. I'm all about that. And Deb, actually, you have some advice on how to get ready to date a younger man. Tell us about that.
Everybody's waiting for this one.
Yeah, drum roll.
You have to get into your sexual energy. You need to make sure you got a ton of sleep the night before, and you got to the gym and you ate everything right, and you're not, feeling loggy and bloated, and you just need to put on all kinds of music and get your energy level up and jump around the house, and then put on something really cute and really sexy. When I first started dating at 51, after not having dated for 30 years, I went and bought clothes in the junior section of a funny little store in the shopping center, and I could wear them because I was a size 6. So I got them and I put them on, and they were things I never would have worn as a mother.
Yeah.
But don't dress like a mother.
Yeah.
Or a grandmother.
Go get something cute and, have your daughter or son give you some advice, or somebody who is much younger, and fix your hair so you don't look like the fuddy-dud you were when you left the marriage. I mean, the difference was night and day. And now I don't even think about age-appropriate dressing or hairdos or anything else. It's how I feel and how I want to look that day. So when you are going to meet someone younger, you should put a little bit of extra effort into it.
Yeah.
Because you can get away with more with a guy your age or even older.
Yeah.
But you are out there competing. You're going to go out on his arm. You're going to sit across from him at dinner, and make sure you've done it right. You've done the makeup right. You've got the cute hairdo, and you don't look like an old mother.
Yeah, I have to say that after I got my divorce, I really upped my game. And it was because I had signed up for dating apps and I had to look all cute again. But it's such a shame. I kind of want to apologize to my ex-husband, because towards the end of our marriage, when things were like kind of falling apart, and the love is kind of like slipping, and you start taking each other for granted, I seriously would wear like baggy pants and hoodies like all day long. And now I'm like, ooh, he kind of got the short end of the stick. And maybe what that teaches me is whatever long-term relationships I get into in the future, I always want to make sure that this rebirth that I'm experiencing and how I feel, how I look, how much I'm working out, how much I'm paying attention to preserving the beauty that I have stays with me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think this might sound like selfish or self-centered, but it's not. I think at the end of the day, I think the reason why, and I'm guilty of this as well, I think the reason why we slack off and don't bring our game, our A game every time is because I think the reason is because when you get comfortable, it's because you thought you were doing it for the other person, and now you start taking the other person for granted, right? So you're 20 years into a marriage, and it happens to a lot of guys like, well, I don't have to stay in shape because I already got a wife. It's like, no, you have to do it. Not necessarily for her, but for your own health.
Yes.
I don't work out because I'm not married anymore. I'm not staying in shape because I'm trying to keep her happy. I'm staying in shape because I enjoy being in shape.
Yeah.
I
so
enjoy,
you have to flip that narrative.
Exactly. And then that makes you attractive to, it sort of solves for itself, right? And then when I'm in a relationship, again, sounds self-centered. It's like, I'm not doing it for her. I'm doing it for myself.
Right.
Because I want to feel healthy. I want to feel like good with myself, And then that translates into actually, ironically, into a better relationship with the other person.
Obviously, there's a lot of exceptions to that rule. Like I think about J-Lo, who just looks so amazing in her, mid-50s. And, despite the fact that she freaking looks like a sex bomb, her relationships just don't seem to stick. So obviously it requires more than...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's not a success necessarily to... You, and also when you're J-Lo, the reason why I think she looks the way she does is because she gets paid. Millions of look,
to look that way.
If I got paid millions of dollars to, I would look a lot better. Right?
Like Chris Hemsworth? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So,
you look good.
Dress like you're a millionaire. That's the other secret. That's my other career, was image consultant.
Well, we can tell. And Deb, before we wrap up, I just want to say what a sweetheart you are. And you're such an inspiration. I think I have another couple of good decades ahead of me, thanks to...
Oh, more than a couple of... Come on.
Well, I mean, like Martha Stewart, right? She posed last year for Sports Illustrated at 80-something. Okay, maybe I have...
Her. I'm just kidding. Martha Stewart, if you're listening to this,
we should do it. I would do them younger crowd thing. You could do the older. She and I are going to do I would do him. I would do Brad Pitt.
I would do Brad Pitt.
Well, I mean, Brad's older than me, but yes, you can do Brad Pitt all day long.
I would do Brad Pitt. Come on.
I know. Everybody would do Brad Pitt, right?
I know. But I would do Brad Pitt.
Oh, that's your celebrity crush.
I think Helen Mirren is.
Oh, God.
Stunning.
Freaking hot.
Right.
We could do this forever.
Yes, all day long.
Absolutely.
We're just looking better all the time.
Yeah.
The time that we're living in, I'm just so grateful, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that this was even possible 50 years ago to talk about Helen Mirren being a sex bomb.
Even if you did, you were not allowed to say it.
Yeah. And we all have tools. Let's use them. We've got a lot of tools on our hands these days, right? As older women.
Oh, definitely.
Come on.
A lot of ways to compensate for anything that nature isn't giving you anymore.
100%. 100%. It's like, you know what? I people are like, I don't know about Botox and blah, blah, blah. And, while I haven't done anything surgically, I'm not opposed to it. You know why? Because like just about every other problem that you have, if you could fix it surgically, or, let's say you have a headache, like you'd take an Advil, everything can be a tool to help you with something that you can't help yourself. So if you look at it in that way, like take advantage of some of the shit that's out there. That's what I have to say to that.
Take advantage of everything. But I'll tell you this, a healthy lifestyle, makes up for a lot.
Oh, so much.
So I mean, there's nothing sadder than a woman who's all like plastic surgery and stuff. But she doesn't take care of herself, and it shows, right? But if you take every tool, advantage of every tool that you have, but if you live a healthy lifestyle, if you exercise. Yep. That's the biggest thing. Just staying active. Mm-hmm. That does wonders for your health and your self-esteem and just and libido too. Like if you are if you're in shape, trust me, like it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Muscle is what helps keep your libido.
Yes.
Muscle?
Yeah.
Muscle. Muscle generates hormones. For the guys, it's the testosterone. For the women, it's our estrogen and other things. That helps with your skin, helps with your everything.
Bone strength, everything. Yeah,
Well,
muscle strength.
it's
And
good.
brain. You build muscle, you keep brain cells. There's all kinds of studies out there.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Deb, I am so glad that you're still a horn dog in your 70s.
Oh, totally.
I thought all of that went away, but
Oh, no, no, no.
So, okay.
No. Just get the right partner, work through any issues, communicate. You know, you can make it happen.
Didn't we just
simple.
say Leisure World is one of the,
I know. I guess. Okay. All right. Well,
there's a future. There's a future ahead of you.
Yeah. All the 20-something-year-olds listening to this are like, let me go and barf right now. Just,
We don't care.
Grandma.
Oh, that's the other thing about getting older. It's like, I don't give a fuck what 20-year-old.
I don't either. You wait till you're 70. You
kidding.
really won't care what you say.
I know, right? Well, this has been so wonderful, Deb. Thank you so much. And how do we find you?
So I'm easy to find. Deb Dutcher Coach and findingmradorable.com, and you'll get there. And I'm on TikTok and Facebook and Meetup and you name it. So I can send you those links if you want.
Yes, we'll put all of those links on our description on our website and on our YouTube page. So if you want to find Deb, just click on the links.
How old is the guy that you're dating right now, Deb? Or are you able to tell us?
Yes, he is 71. He is 2 months younger.
there you go.
Still
And
dating.
he has the same attitude, and he's a horn dog too.
He's a lucky guy.
He's a lucky dog.
Remember, it's all attitude, kids.
Attitude and health. Keep it simple.
Attitude
Love
and
it.
health.
Well, thank you.
Love
you,
you guys.
Deb.
You're so much fun. Now I'm going to have to listen to your podcast all the time.
Yes, please
We
do.
love that.
Tell
We love
everybody
that.
about us.
This is another episode of I Hate Dating Apps. You can't love with them.
Can't love without him. Until next time.
See you guys.
I hate dating apps.
Hey, app daters and haters, tell us your dating app experience, and we just might bring you on as a guest for future episodes. Head to IHateDatingApps.com and click on the big yellow Tell Us Your Story button. You can't miss it. We've got a lot of fun content on our social channels, so please follow us at I Hate Dating Apps on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And on Instagram, we're at I Hate Dating Apps Pod. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast.